you people started now into the society, so you don't know much. Earlier what would happen means non-tribals. Non-tribals means other than ST, mainly landlords. In village there will be a dominant caste. Like if you go to Kerala, there will be Iyengars, Niners. If you go to Tamil Nadu, Mudalayars. If you come to Karnataka, Gavada, Okkaligas, Lingayats. If you come to Andhra Pradesh, Kapus, Kammas. If you come to Telangana, Velmas, Reddys. These people are dominant people. Your parents might experience this. Now the society has been changed. Then what this dominant caste people used to do? They are very hungry for land. In villages, the person who is having more land, his status will be very high. So what they would do? They would acquire the land. They would illegally acquire the land, either by forcing or by cheating. Cheating means how? They used to give, you want money, please take. He don't know education. Just keep your left thumb impression. So he would give his left thumb impression. On that paper they would write like anything. He took this much of amount with exorbitant interest rates. When he is unable to pay, see, I gave you loan, you are unable to pay. So when you are unable to pay, give your land. In that way, the land would be taken away. In olden days, what is the livelihood? Land itself is a livelihood. They depended upon the land. So in that way, the land would be taken away from these poor people, from these marginalized sections. So for the government, when they formed the Constitution of India, the new governments which came into existence in 1952, the big challenge was how to protect these marginalized sections from the exploitation of these upper castes. Mainly in protection of what? Land. Why? Because they don't know, there is no education, there is no cities, there is no urban areas. The only form of livelihood is what? Agriculture. Or the only form of livelihood is land. Land. If they want to do anything, they have to do with land. So protection of the land itself is a very big challenge. That is the reason this all came. Schedule 5, Schedule 6. Yesterday newspaper, Odisha Schedule Area Land Protection Act it is. Why it is in the news? Have you read it? That type of articles are important. Complete newspaper will be never, you should not read complete newspaper. If you read complete newspaper, you are fools. You are wasting your time. Only 2, 3, minimum 2, maximum 3 articles will be there. Not more than 3 articles in the newspaper. It was a very good article. You can write here, you can write in land reforms. In your GS1 paper, in post-independence, there is land reforms, one topic is there in your syllabus copy. What is land reforms? Protection of land for the marginalized sections. What the government did? Government took lot of lands which are there in surplus with upper caste and distributed, which are with landlords, distributed among the SC, ST communities. That is called as land reforms. So yesterday's article was saying that in 1956, Odisha Assembly, State Assembly made a very good legislation that the lands which are present with the tribals in schedule area cannot be converted in any cost. That only yesterday we studied. We studied that only yesterday. Then in November 16th, this month, on November 16th, Navin Patnaik government, what they did, they amended it. They are in the process of amendment. What is that? So any tribal person living in the schedule area in Odisha, if you want to sell it to the non-tribal, he can sell it. Then what will happen? So you can sell. See, selling means sometimes it might happen by wish, most often it happens by force. Why? Because they are vulnerable sections. So everyone criticized the Navin Patnaik government, Odisha government. You are telling the tribal land will be converted to non-tribals. But if they want to wish to sell it, good only. But how much percentage of the people will be selling at market rate? 1% or 2%. 98% will be happening how? By force, by threat, by using the power, by using the police. That is the reason, no, all the movies came in 1980s, 1990s, Red Flag, Erra Sainyam, these all movies are real movies. Reality which happened in the states of Telangana, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, we are living in a very good place. 1980, 1990 till 1995, the situation was different. Naxalites were being present in every part. I will explain about Naxalism also. Naxalites were being present in every district. Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Odisha, Jharkhand. Why anyone will take the weapons? Forcefully they are taking away their lands. And now in the 21st century, in 2023, Naveen Patnaik government is saying that tribal lands can be given away to non-tribals. Then you are reversing everything. What we were been doing since 50 years, by single amendment you are telling that tribals can sell it to, but you are thinking whether selling and buying will happen. No, exploitation will happen. Illegal forms will come, force they will use the police, for example. Now what the governments will do? Now everything is real estate. Whether are you thinking the farmers are selling the lands with their wish? No, Shamshabad airport, if you see, nearly 200 hectares of land. Why any farmer will sell that much of land? Force, land acquisition, land alienation. So land protection is a very important aspect, it is a social issue. Why it is there in your syllabus? If you become a district collector, the biggest problem which you face in your district is land alienation. If you are posted in urban district, then you will not face this problem. 90% of the districts are rural districts only in India. Any district you face, there will be a land alienation, there will be a land problem. So you have to know about how to protect the lands, mainly with the marginalized communities, SCs and STs. And you might be having another impression. Sir, today SC and ST, they are enjoying, they are getting reservations, they are well off. Why so much of concentration on these SC and ST communities? The SC and ST communities which you are seeing is very, very minimal percentage. The same families, they are using the reservations again and again. There are still the communities who are living in the forests. There are today also 70% of the tribal population who are not using the reservations. The reservations are used only by some elite communities like Lambada community or Sugali community or Meena community. There are nearly 700 communities. There are nearly 700 communities who don't know about the reservations. SC also. The same SC community, parents are using, children are using, but there are SC communities in India who are living in villages below poverty line. There is untouchability also there in India. There are still the problems of SCs, there are still the problems of STs. Again, some section of people will tell that we have to reverse the reservations. No. The problem with the reservation is there is a need for creamy layer. But complete banning of reservation is not the solution. Why? Because only few section of people, they are repeatedly using it, not marginalized sections. So in the same process with our subject also, the land alienation is the biggest problem. So in order to protect them, see, I am a farmer, for example. What is wealth for me? What is everything for me? Land is everything for me. For ST, what is everything? Land is everything. For a SC who is living in Indian village, for a poor farmer, leave SC and ST, any poor farmer from any caste or any community, what is his livelihood? Land. Land protection is very important. That is the reason the land alienation problem should be avoided. Similarly, one more problem we discussed yesterday about poverty and indebtedness. And third, today we will be discussing about low literacy and poor educational facility. Low literacy and poor educational facility. Yes. Education is the catalyst, mainly for whom? Mainly for middle class sections like you and me. Today I am staying here on this particular dais only because of education. If you become an IAS officer, if you become an IPS officer, it's only because of education. 98% of Indian population who are evolving today, who are growing, who are eating, whose income is crossing 10,000 and above, it's mainly because of education. Education is the catalyst for any transformation. But that education is unreachable to this particular community. That particular education is unreachable to this particular community. So what are the reasons for low literacy? What are the reasons for poor education facility? Introduction, as usual, I told you the structure. Introduction, status, factors, consequences, Solutions with case studies, recommendations, conclusions. Seven paragraphs. This is a ready-made answer structure for any question on tribal problems, and 2 questions will damn sure come on tribal problems. From 6.2 and 6.3, 2 subunits, 6.2 and 6.3, 50 marks will be in paper 2, 50 marks. Education is the key catalyst to the development of human resource in any society. In any society, you go anywhere, it is education which is responsible for transformation. Tribal areas are natural resources rich areas. They were being exploited by the mainstream. Even today, because of the lack of education and awareness among the tribals, they are unable to take advantage of these new economic opportunities, leading to continued exploitation. Education is a catalyst, but I am not getting that catalyst. For example, you see, we got independence. India, we will take only India. We got independence. Then how we have to live? We went for land reforms. We took the land from haves and we gave it to the have-nots. Very happy. Then 1960, this is 1950. 1960, what happened? We went for green revolution. Norman Borlaug, we went for green revolution. We have high yielding variety seeds. So yield has been increased, the production has been increased. Means once upon a time 1 hectare which used to give 300 kgs, now it is giving 3000 kgs. Means I got revenue. The 1970s, 1980s completed. Then again we are in search of some livelihood. Liberalization, privatization, globalization. Again we started opening our markets and we started gaining income. By the time 2000, what happened? A new avenue started by the name called as software employment. You don't believe, if the software would not come into this particular Indian society, there would be lot of chaos, there would be lot of law and order problem, huge Naxalism, huge law and order problem would be there, thanks to information communication technology. How this happened? Because of catalyst called as education. But this catalyst is used only by the middle class, that too from upper caste or middle backward communities, not by the lower communities. So as they didn't got education, they were been depending upon the land, and the land was been exploited by the upper caste, or the land was been exploited by the non-tribals. So I could not have the voice, I could not raise the voice. Why? Because I don't have awareness. When I will get awareness? When I get education. So education was unreachable to this particular communities. So when there was opportunities also, they could not tap the opportunity. For example, today civil service is an opportunity to you. Today becoming an IAS, becoming an IPS is an opportunity to you. You have to tap it. That it's not only about the opportunity, how you are tapping is also very important. So in the classroom of 50 students, there might be 5 students who are super serious, there might be 45 students non-serious. So this IAS or IPS will become true for how many? 5%, 5 students only. Similarly, so opportunity was been created by education, but those opportunities were been untapped by the tribals because of absence of educational opportunities. Northeastern tribes are relatively better, but what happened with respect to India? This particular community, Northeastern tribal communities are relatively better. Why? Because here Christian missionaries came into existence. Here Christian missionaries came into existence, and these Christian missionaries, good thing is, they not only promoted evangelization, they also promoted education. So I in this particular aspect, I appreciate Christian missionaries, because religion jai baad mein, whatever may be the religion, we are not bothered. What is important for a man? Education, health, livelihood, skill development, these are provided by this particular Christian missionaries. So when compared to this part of tribal India, this part of tribal India was very successful. Why? Because on the name of Christian missionaries, at least they got education. It is not about the religion. What we want? We want education, we want health, we want livelihood opportunities, we want skill development. Northeastern tribes are relatively better off because of early access to English education as a result of missionary activities. So that means we understood that this part of India, and in this part of India, the tribal people were been inaccessible to the education, but this part of India, who are tribal India or tribals, were been accessible to education. And the Christian missionaries were very much successful here, not here. So the Christian missionaries indirectly provided what? Education, health also. English education they provided. So when they got English education, they became competitive with mainstream. So, that is the reason the literacy rate or the economic opportunity or the GDP growth in the Northeast India is far better than mainstream India. Status, I have to give some facts. According to 2001 census, the ST literacy rate was 47%. According to 2011 census, the ST literacy rate is 59%. How much is the literacy rate for STs? Generally 74.04%. Whereas the literacy rate for ST in 2011 census is how much? 59%. How much gap is there? Approximately 15% gap. General means across India, everyone. Generally, average is 74.04, but the ST is 59, far behind the general literacy rate. Means from this particular statistics, I came to a conclusion that the ST literacy rate is very, very less when compared to the general people. General people means average altogether. Altogether it is 74.04, but ST is, from this I came to a conclusion by the numbers, yes. STs are poor with respect to literacy. Again, literacy means not 10th class. Literacy means what? Writing, understanding, reading. These three things. That only 59, I am not talking about 10th class, matriculation, graduation. The people who can write, who can read, who can understand is called as literacy rate. That literacy rate is how much? 59.09%. Then what are the factors, sir? Then why the STs cannot studied, or why they are not getting this education? What might be the factors before this? Number one factor, superstitions and prejudices about education. Fear of losing the children to education. Gond people believe that if my child get education, he will go out for education. So, he will marry some outside girl and he will stay there, he will not come back. So, why I have to give education to lose him? So, I will not give him education. What is it? Superstition. There are some superstition, there are some prejudices, prejudgment, so that he will marry someone outside or some her outside or some she outside and he will not come back out. So, rather than losing him, I will not give him education. Beliefs and myths that gods become angry if they get modern education. Gasya tribe of Madhya Pradesh, they believe that if we give modern education, the gods of the tribal community will get angry. Superstitions. So, these are the superstitions, beliefs which are making them to not to get education. Poverty of the parents. According to Srivastava, an anthropologist, education is never a basic need, education is a luxury. Subsistence economy, what they follow? For example, in your NCERT book, in economy NCERT book, it is written, a poor father will think that if me, my wife and my children, if we both people work together, then we will get handful of food. So, we have to go for workplace. Why? Because what is most important? Hungry. What is most important? Food is most important, which is called a subsistence. I have to survive. So, a poor father will think that me, my wife, my spouse and my children, if we go to work, then only we can survive. Basic need is what? Survival. So, education, when I will think, when my basic need is satisfied, what is my basic need? Hungry. So, in that particular circumstances, education will be a luxury to me. Education will be a luxury. When I get food, then I will think about. Second, education specific issues, like what? The content of education is not suited for tribals. If I am a Gond, I know about Ramji Gond. If I am a Munda, I know about Birsa Munda. For me, my hero is Birsa Munda. For me, my hero is Ramji Gond. But suddenly they brought and they are explaining about Jawaharlal Nehru. Suddenly they brought Mahatma Gandhi and explaining about Mahatma Gandhi. Suddenly they are teaching about Bhagat Singh, but I don't know them. So, the education should be suitable to them, which they know. So, they will feel interesting. The curriculum is outside curriculum. The curriculum should be inside. So, what they will feel, yes, what I am seeing daily basis, the same thing is taught in my classroom. So, they feel interest and they will come to the classroom. So, the education, the content of education is not suited for tribals, and education will not give you immediate benefit. What everyone want? Immediate benefit. Immediate benefit. There will be, sir, students, sir, tell me only 4 books. You tell me only 4 books, sir. You ask me page number also, I will explain you everything. I will not explain you, I will rehearse to you everything. But you give only 4 books. I should get rank. What you tell I will do, I will, means what? Everyone want immediate benefit, and the two tribals want immediate benefit, but education benefit will be long term. It's a long term goal. So there is no immediate benefit. Indifferent attitude shown by the teachers towards the tribal students. Why? Because most often the teachers in government schools are mainstream, from other caste groups, from upper caste groups. So obviously they will have an indifferent attitude, means lack of interest. They will not show any interest towards the tribal students. Or sometimes they beat, sometimes they will not show any interest. So the tribal student, small boy who is coming to the school and sitting, and he get irritated because of a teacher, he will go to the home. That is the reason I told I will not go to the school. He will. Indifferent attitude shown by the teachers towards the tribal students. Far off located schools. Schools are inaccessible. Medium of instruction will be Hindi or English or Telugu or Tamil. It is mainstream language. They want Santali language. They want Gondi language. They want local language. But that language of instruction will not be there. So they cannot understand. Absenteeism among the teachers. The teachers will come very, very rarely, like festivals. Absenteeism among teachers. So the students, if they mistakenly they come to the school also, teacher will not come. Absenteeism of the teachers. No specific till date. From independence we are noticing this. The tribal education is a problem, but till date there is no tribal education policy. It shows the indifferent attitude by the governments. So yesterday one student was asking me this question, very good question. Sir, then if that is the case, then why the government is not taking action? Why the government is not proactive? See, government means who? Legislatures. The legislature means MLAs. I talk about state government, MLAs. Which political party MLAs are majority, they will form the government. So first they have to become MLA. They have to become MLA means who will make them MLA? Voters. It is not the people who will make them MLA, voters will make them. So whether all the people have the voter card, it is not the people who make them MLA, it is the voters who make them. So it is voters who are important, not the people. So they work for voters or they work for the people? They work for voters. So the tribal people, the tribal person, the tribal family, the tribal community who is living in the hilly area, they will not enroll into the voter list. They will not enroll into the voter list. They will not have a voter card. So MLA will be making the voter list and he will be going and he will be distributing the money or he will be coming. Why they will make the, they will come to every home. So knowing that this person is having the vote or not. If he is having the vote, he will come and he will catch the legs. If you don't have the vote, he will not look at you also. Means voter card is important. Tribals doesn't have. Because of that, there is no education policy. Case study. Oh, these are the factors. These are the factors which are responsible for low educational, low literacy rate and poor educational facility. Case study I will tell you. See, education has been area of discrimination not only for tribals but for Dalits also. According to the classrooms are not free from traditional social prejudices. Means what happened? For example, in Gasia tribal community in Sonabhadra district, if a Gasia tribal boy came and studying in the classroom, irrespective of his age, irrespective of year after year, he will be not allowed to promote into the next class. He will be staying in the same classroom. Number one. Number two, there will be separate place. He will be sitting down, other people will be sitting on the tables. So every child mind will be the same. They don't know about all this discrimination and all. He will think that why they made me to sit, I will not go to school only. Gasia tribal community, two types of discrimination. Irrespective of the age, they are not promoted to the next class. Number two, they are made to sit separately. So the child who is observing the prejudices, the child who is observing the discrimination, he doesn't want to continue the education. The classrooms are not free from traditional social prejudices against the tribal children. In a recent report of Human Rights Watch, Gasia tribal children of Sonabhadra district in Uttar Pradesh were made to sit in single grade irrespective of their ages. That too separately from the other students. So because of the discrimination, the Gasia boy or a Gasia girl doesn't want to continue the education. There is a girl called as Payal Tadvi. She is an MD. She is an MD. She is not only MBBS, not BDS. She is an MD. Repeatedly she was being harassed in the classroom by her 3 classroom mates. her friends, girls, saying that you got a seat in this particular famous hospital in Pune only because of your category. If you would not have ST category, you would not get the seat in this prestigious college called as Nair Hospital. Repeatedly she was been harassed in every classroom. Tadvi is a tribal girl. Her name is Payal. This is her community. Tadvi, Bill Tadvis they are called as. She committed suicide. MD, see, doing suicide at the age of 28 years, that to an MD, is not a small thing. Why? Because they will get enough maturity. They will get enough knowledge. Why? Because they completed their MBBS. Now they are into the MD. But because of the discrimination, because of the harassment, because of repeated harassment, that you got a seat into this particular prestigious institution only because of reservation. So she committed suicide. These are the issues which demotivates, which will demotivate the other students to pursue technical educations like engineering or medicine. Payal Tadvi, suicide case. JNU discrimination, criticized by the parliamentary committee. You know, central universities will offer stipend. The stipends are categorically denied for the communities who are coming from scheduled caste or scheduled tribes. So anyone will pursue research scholar, why? Anyone will write JRF, why? JRF because he will do the research as well as he will be getting some stipend. But that stipend has been categorically rejected. Who told? I didn't told. Who told? Parliamentary committee told. Indian parliamentary committee told. So such sort of discriminations were being noticed. Case studies. Discrimination and humiliation in various educational universities leading to demoralization. So they will not continue the education. See, this type of lady who is becoming an MD, she will become an example for her community. When she become an example for the community, lot of girls will pursue that particular education by looking her as a role model. But if she herself pursues, if herself becomes a suicide, then it will become a bad example. It is not only about her death. It will become a bad example to others to pursue the education. Recent times, COVID. See, any tribal problem we have to understand from the perspective of COVID. In your essay paper also, any essay you are writing, one paragraph should be COVID. You have to apply COVID. Why? Because pre-COVID, post-COVID, huge transformation. Huge transformation. So what happened with respect to education facility? The biggest problem is by 2020, the governments worked a lot, NGOs worked a lot, private organizations worked a lot, corporate social responsibilities with using the CSR funds, private people also established some educational institutions and everything was happy by 2020. Suddenly COVID came. Up to now the tribals didn't got habituated to online education. They don't have mobile phones, they don't have internet, they don't have laptops. So for 2 years, successful academic years they lost. Already pushed back. They lost their 2 academic years. COVID. And who could not have accessible to this online education? Vulnerable sections. Who can be the vulnerable sections rather than tribals? Barely 18% of tribal students enrolled in residential schools had access to online education during the COVID-19 outbreak. Ministry of, from where I took this? Ministry of Tribal Affairs. Due to lack of devices. I should have device, no? Lack of devices. Low mobile net, there should be towers also. Low mobile connectivity, net connectivity, tribal children are worst hit. So up to now, what are the efforts were being kept till 2020? Suddenly for 2 years it became zero. It's not only about 2 years. See, they discontinued for 2 years. Now again they want to start in 2022. Whether there will be any motivation? Everyone changed their classroom. They discontinued. See, education should be in a continuity. I think in the beginning also I told this. You cannot give gap in your education. If you are into the process of civil services preparation, some students will think that I will give gap, I will go, I will work and I will make some money and I will come back. No, education is a continued thing. Me also as a teacher, if I stop teaching for 2 years and 3rd year if I restart, no, I cannot. It should be in a continuity cycle. Similarly, the education also should be in a continuity. But for 2 years there is a huge gap and the worst affected community is tribals. So what are the government efforts? The policy of tribal Panchashil. The tribal people should be developed along the lines of their own genus and the imposition of alien values should be avoided as much as possible. As being the cornerstone of governmental efforts towards tribal education. Means if I want to give education, if I want to develop the tribal people, I have to develop from the lines of their genus. Means what is development for you, that development I have to give. Means what is development to you, my language is important, first I have to get my language, no. If I don't know my language and I learn a foreign language, what is the benefit of being into that particular tribal community? So we have to develop from the lines of their genus. Foreign alien values we should not give them. Then what they will think, what is this? For example, if you speak English language well, then you are intelligent person. No, English language and intelligence both not one and the same. Intelligence is different. Intelligence doesn't relate with English language. English language is just a language. But what happened today, the yardstick is the person who is speaking very good English is intelligent, we are thinking. That is 100% wrong. The call center people, they will speak very good English, who are working in call center. It means that they are very intelligent. If they are intelligent, they will not work in call center. But their English will be so very good English. So English language and so when the development is there, the development should be according to their genus. What is development for them, we have to give development. So for that the government came up with some ideas, like what? Ekalavya model school. Like what? Ekalavya model school, number one. What is this? I will tell you the meaning. EMRS we will tell, Ekalavya model residential schools. This came into existence from 1997, exclusively funded by central government. In the tribal dominated districts, one Ekalavya model residential school will come. All the tribals admissions will be taken. The education will be provided free of cost, lodging, boarding, education till 12th class, and the curriculum will be CBSE. They will not only focus on education, they will also give sports, art and different extracurricular activities also they will focus, so that overall development of tribals will happen. So what is the school name called as? Ekalavya. Education, they will get education. Ekalavya model school. Second, special central assistant to tribal sub-scheme. Government every year specifically they will give some funds for the development of tribes, mainly for educational institution. Through what fund? Special central assistance, mainly for educational facilities. Means if any government school is there, not EMRS, general government schools will be there, no. In our villages, general government schools, for that construction of or for laying of the roads or for any bus, extra money will be given by whom? Special central assistance. National fellowship and scholarship for higher education of ST students. True. If any ST student get seat in NIT or IIT or AIMS, this particular scholarship they will get, so that the money will be funded by government. There is an article called as Article 275. Under Article 275 of the Constitution, compulsory grant. Compulsory the central government should give some money for the development of tribals. Under Article 275. Pre-metric scholarship means before 10th class. Post-metric scholarship after 10th class. Vocational trainings and ITIs, industrial training institute, ITI, those are called as vocational training institute. Skill development, like what? Electrician work, AC repair, some mechanical works. They guarantee what? Employment. We know engineering will not guarantee employment, diploma will not guarantee employment, MBBS also will not guarantee employment, but this will guarantee employment. Ready-made you will get the job. If you have skill on repairs, if you have skill on electrician, if you have skill on some mechanical things, vocational training institutions were being established, so that they are getting education, they are also getting what? Employment. Establishment of hostels for ST boys and ST girls separately, so that there will be, the parents would not worry about their staying, parents would not worry about their education, free. Establishment of ST boys and establishment of ashrama schools. Sir, what is difference between ashrama school and Ekalavya school? Only two models of schools are been established by tribals. One is Ekalavya, exclusive CBSE, completely funded by central government. Who will take the responsibility? Central government. It will work on the lines of Navodaya Vidyalaya. Ashrama schools, state syllabus, central government 50% fund, state government 50% fund. State government will take care. That particular schools are called as ashrama schools. So these are all the government efforts. Ashrama schools, establishment of hostels for ST boys and ST girls, vocational training centers like ITIs, post-metric scholarships, pre-metric scholarships, grants under the provision of Constitution, national fellowship scholarships, and special central assistance to tribal schemes. And one more famous school is called as Ekalavya model schools. It's a residential school. These are what? Government efforts. Then what happens, sir? Then there are some recommendations. Yes, we have to go with recommendations. What are the recommendations? NC Saxena. Compulsory one person, expert, one or two people, expert recommendations you have to write in your answer. NC Saxena or Zaxa, like that people will come. Here it is NC Saxena. See, education should be job oriented, it should be vocational. Education should be job oriented. It should be vocational. What are vocational? ITI. It should be job centric. ITIs are job centric. If I go for ITI for 1 year, after 1 year I myself can keep a mixer repair center, AC repair center, fridge repair center, or I can enroll myself into any of this online repairing platforms. So there is 100% guarantee. So he tells that education should be job oriented. School should be located in tribal hamlets where the teacher should teach in tribal. Most of the schools are located in far off places. Mainly the girl children cannot go because of the fear of the distance, and the parents also will not send. So school should come where? In the tribal hamlet. And the curriculum should be in which language? Tribal language. Nutritional program along with education, both should go hand in hand. It is not only about the education, midday meal schemes like programs are very much welcome. Why? Because food as well as both should go hand in hand. There is a need for coordination from tribal panchayats. So what? Sometimes the parents might not be interested to send their children. So the government should reach the tribal panchayat and make them empower. Today world is English. Today world is mainstream education. Please send your children. So the local people will listen if it is been told by tribal panchayats. So first we have to persuade whom? Tribal panchayats. So these are the recommendations which are given by Zaxa. Recommendations are what? Education to be tribal. So they feel interesting. If their folklore is there, their tribal history is there, should be taught in primary stage. If they explain about their own leaders, their own heroes, Birsa Munda, Ramji Gond, if I teach about their leaders, they know. Already in their childhood, their grandmother or someone would be telling the same story. So when he is listening in the classroom, he feel interested. Tribal centric education should be there according to Zaxa. Tribals have certain cultural genius. Different aspects of indigenous knowledge should be documented, researched and promoted. There will be some tribal knowledge will be there, like neem, like haldi, some Ayurvedic medicines. So they might be having some ingenious. Why? Because they will be living in the forest. So that ingenious knowledge should be documented, preserved and should be promoted, so that if they get a patent, they can earn money also. So making that is also part of education. There should be appropriate number of tribal cultural academies which will encourage the tribes to have further education. Residential school should be set up specifically for nomadic tribes. Some tribes will be roaming here and there, here and there, here and there. 6 months they will be living on the plains, 6 months they will be living on the hilltops, like Bakrawalas, like Gaddis, like Sherpas of North India. Then which school they have to send? 6 months this school, 6 months that school. For them, what type of schools are more recommended? Residential schools. There is a need for strong mechanism to protect the students from abuse. And the big problem is, tribals are vulnerable. And when they send their, not only girls, boys also, they will be exploited. They might be used by the teachers. Yes, 1970s, 1980s, 1990s. The school children were being used by the teachers in house as domestic helpers. They used to make the school children to work in the houses. If it is a girl child, sexual exploitation is a very common thing. Such sort of abuse, such sort of neglect should come to an end. It should be a safer place. Then they will send, no, safety is important or education is important first. There is a need for separate tribal education. We don't have educational policy. So what is recommended? Separate tribal educational policy. These are the recommendations of Zaxa. So we understood introduction, we had status, we had the reasons for the problems, we have consequences for the problem, we have the solutions for the problems, government schemes, and we have the recommendations and previous year question. Discuss the social, cultural, economical, psychological constraints responsible for low literacy rate. Tell me social. I have the fear that if I send my child to the modern education, he will leave the hamlet. Social. Cultural. My gods will get angry if I get education. Economical. Education is a luxury but not a basic. Psychological. Tell me, psychological. Psychological is my curriculum or my leaders or my folklore is not there in the education curriculum, outside curriculum is there, so I am psychologically dissatisfied, so I will discontinue my education. So curriculum should be localized, curriculum should be there. So these are the factors, social factors, cultural factors, economical factors, psychological factors which are responsible for low literacy. Same. What is the same answer? 2015, 15 marker question. Issues relating to tribal education. What are the issues relating to tribal education? You will write facts about tribal education, why education is poor among the tribals, why social, cultural, economical and psychological, what are the reasons for poor, with case studies you will write, what will be the consequences, expert committee recommendation and way forward. Yes, way forward means a solution. What solution you will tell? So the teacher should be, you only tell me, teacher should be recruited from the same tribal community. So if the school is established in Gond tribal community, tribal hamlet, the teacher should not be an outsider, the teacher also should be a Gond person. Then he can properly connect with the student. Give me any other recommendation other than here, your own. Any recommendation online? Very good, very good. Providing basic amenities. The big problem is absence of toilet. So most of the girls will, today, 21st century, when you read about your education in your general studies classes, the big problem is not about enrollment. Today we have very good enrollment. Means what? Students are enrolling into the schools. But the problem is dropouts. When they cross the primary education, mainly the girl children, when they cross the primary education, when they go into the secondary education, absence of toilets. Absence of toilets is one factor which is making the girls to drop out, which is making the parents to discontinue the education. So, as Sandhya told, providing basic amenities in schools also. True. Next, safety and security should be given highest importance for girl education. Next, any recommendation? If you become IAS officer, what you will do? Midday scheme already there, no? Oh, very good. Like, not only lunch, breakfast also. Scholarships, scholarship tests. Not only lunch, not only midday meal, morning meal also. If morning meal is only upma, puris will be given. Yes. Puri with extra chutney. Yes, compulsory. Education according to that. These are the solutions. Next big problem is unemployment and underemployment. What is unemployment and underemployment? Unemployment and underemployment. Unemployment. I am willing to work, but I am not getting job is called as unemployment. Unemployment is not working. Not working means dumb person, he is not interested to work also. That is not unemployment. Unemployment means I am searching for job, but I am not getting job is called as unemployment. I want to work, but I am not getting the work is called as unemployment. Underemployment. I am employed, but not according to my capacity. I have the capacity to become IPS officer, but I became police constable. Is called as underemployment. The job is not according to my capacity. So these two problems are very severely present in tribal population. Unemployment and underemployment. Introduction. Unemployment occurs when a person who is actively searching for employment but unable to find a work. Underemployment is a situation where there is a mismatch between the employment opportunities and the skills and education level of the employees. Unemployment and underemployment. Then again what? Status. Some facts, evidence. Substantial section of tribal population are in marginalized sector and in unorganized sector, and most of the tribals are in informal sector. If most of the tribals are in informal sector, what is the problem? Guarantee will not be there. Like what? Insurance will not be there, provident funds will not be there, leaves will not be there, sick leaves will not be there, casual leaves will not be there. When the job will go, when the job will be there, we don't know. Job insecurity will be there. So most of the tribals who are employed also are into which sector? Informal sector, unorganized sector. Everyone want to come into which sector? Organized sector. Why? Because at least if they are removing, they will give 1 month notice. So at least in 1 month you can search for another job, but in unorganized sector, then and there they will remove. 22% of tribals depend on agriculture sector for livelihood, rest all depend on pastoralism or work as agriculture laborers, artisans and industrial laborers. These are informal sector only. Pastoralism is informal sector, agriculture labor is informal sector, artisan is informal sector, industrial laborers are daily wages. How much percent? 22% of the tribals depends upon this particular informal sector. So why so much? What are the factors responsible for it? What are the factors responsible for it? What happened, You ask your parents, you might not having experience. Earlier in our villages, 1970, 1980, 1990, if any person is from scheduled caste, directly, you are from SC community, you have to become slave. Your job is to work for upper caste. If he is going for education, they will not allow the SC person to go to education. Similarly, ST also, tribal person, bonded labor is very huge. How? Mainly by land alienation. So, one money lender will come, you want money, take money at exorbitant interest rate. So, he will take the money and he will make it left to the membership, and when he doesn't able to pay, he will take the land. Then he will tell that with your land interest is been paid. Then what about principal? Then principal, what I have to do? Come to my home, I will give you accommodation, I will give you food, and in unhygienic condition only, I will give you accommodation, I will give you food. You have to work lifelong. That is called as bonded labor. Most of the tribals are bonded labor. Bonded labor is one of the main reason for unemployment. Example, Korwas of Madhya Pradesh. Who made them? Yesterday, Muslim money lenders. Muslim money lenders. Culture contact, exploitation. Yes, you notice if any person is there, there will be adda. In every town, in every city, there will be adda where the daily wages will come and stand. So building construction people or this maestri people or this contractors, house contractors, they will come and they will select the 4 or 5 daily wages, they will take and they will go. One tribal person is standing there with his attire, with the innocent face. So you selected him, and from morning to evening he is working. For other people you are paying 600 rupees, but you are noticing this tribal man. You understood that he is not educated, he is unaware, he is ignorant, he don't know nothing. At the end of the day, when I am paying, he became contractor, means simply will not become contractor. So much cunning, then only will become contractor. So 600 rupees. So how much he will pay? Whether he will pay 600 rupees? At the end of the day, after the work has been completed, he will give 300 rupees and he will, this is more for you, go. Exploitation. He cannot do anything. Why? Because it is not his land. He cannot do anything. Why? Because he is alien. He cannot do anything. Why? Because he is outsider. He will every time think that my land is somewhere in the forests. Exploitation. Economic reasons like push migration. I am pushed, not pull. The people, the tribal people who are working in the urban areas, they are not by pull. Pull means what? By wish. Push means what? By force. The migrations which are happening is because of push factor. Little or no education, formal and vocational education, low skilled jobs. When employed, tribals are paid very less. Most of the Santals who migrated to Ranchi work in brick lanes. Once upon a time, they are the owners of the land, landlords. They are the owners of the forest. They are been removed and they are working in brick lanes. Underemployment. Yes or no? They are the owners. Now they became brick lane employees. And out of their capacity is to own the forest. They were been very happy in the forest. Now they are working like slaves. So these are some of the factors which are responsible. Dependence on agriculture. Again, whether agriculture will give very good income? No, it's gambling of monsoon. One year the monsoon will be good, another year the monsoon will not be good. They will not have irrigation facility. They will not have motors. They will not have borewells. They depend only on what? Seasonal rainfalls. And seasonal rainfall is what? A gambling. We don't know when the seasonal rainfall will happen properly. So hence the income is also very less. When the income is less, I want to serve my family people. Again I will go in search of from daily wage. The primitive form of agriculture practice results in no technology. So the output also will be less, and that output is insufficient to serve my family. So again, search of employment. Simplicity and innocence. So, if that person is paying off also, he will not shout. Why? Because he will leave, because he is already dissatisfied, because he is in push migration but not in pull migration. The forest laws till 2006 didn't give rights on forest tribes. Till 2006, they didn't got the rights on minor forest produce like honey, lac, resins. If they did hard work and if they take the honey also, suddenly a police constable will stand in front of him. This is honey, you did lot of effort, very good, but it belongs to government and I am the owner of the government, give my honey. Till 2006, tribals were been not declared as the owners of minor forest produce. But from 2006, Forest Rights Act came into existence. According to this Forest Rights Act, the minor forest produce of the forest, who is the owner? Tribals. But that means till 2006, they were being exploited by mainstream people. They were being exploited by mainstream people. These are the factors which are responsible for, then what will be the unemployment will lead to what? Poverty. And poverty is the biggest disease. The poverty is the biggest disease, which will have cyclical impact. It impact hunger, it impact malnutrition, impact education, each and every field it will be impacting. So, the consequence is poverty. Nutritional stress, when I don't have money, then I will not buy quality food, no. So, when I don't buy quality food, it is not only about the quality, I don't get quantity also. When there is quantitative insufficiency and qualitatively inferior, quantitatively insufficient, qualitatively inferior, then I will fall into nutritional stress, health deterioration. Why? Because no income, because of unemployment, debt trap, I don't have income, but I have to serve my family. Then what I will do? I will go to the money lender, I will ask for money. Then what he will do? He will charge exorbitant rates, debt trap. When he is unable to sell, when he is unable to pay it back, why? Because he gave already land. Then what? If he have the daughter, he will push the daughter into the prostitution. If that is also not there, he will commit suicide. Most of the suicides which happened in India since last 50 years, 90% of the suicides is mainly because of money lenders. And now the recent times the suicides which are happening is because of more money. If money is there, they will feel depression. When you eat food, then everything is there, then this person told me this person told me this, you will become low and you will become. When you don't have food, these all things will not come. You will search for. So, who will feel that? Rich people only will fall in depression. Middle class person and lower person will never fall into depression. Why? Because he will be in search of. When everything is there, no, then he will think about this person is telling me, this person is telling me what I have to do, I will commit suicide. Most of the depressions are from high class people only, not from low class people. Why? Because low class people doesn't have the time to think what he told and what he told. Why? Because he will be in search of livelihood. Debt trap, culture. So, unemployment, in search of employment, went to the mainstream by seeing my dress attire, by seeing my language, by seeing my culture, they make fun of it. So, there is a culture shock to me, culture is getting deteriorated, bonded labor, distress migration related socio-psychological impacts, and this socio-psychological impacts is resulting in left-wing extremism. They are joining into Naxalism. These are the consequences of unemployment and underemployment. Then solution क्या है? Thanks to National Policy on Education 1986, it promoted what? Vocational education for the first time and emphasized on tribes and gave priority to tribes. National Policy on Education 1986. For the first time we understood the importance of vocational education, and they gave importance to whom? Tribals. Article 16, equality in matters of public employment. Under Article 16 only reservations are given to STs. So, in public employment also now they are getting employment. Why? Because there is reservation. Article 23, prohibition of slavery, human trafficking and forced labor. Who are trafficked? Who are pushed into forced labor? Who are pushed into bonded labor? STs. Prohibition of child labor. Most of the child labor in India today also, not from last 50 years, today also the most of the child laborers are from SC community or ST community. Policies and initiatives of state government, government of Chhattisgarh. There are some policies, for example, what I will tell you. A very good policy of government of Chhattisgarh. You can make running notes. What is it? If roads and buildings department will be there. So, if any roads and buildings are constructed by the state government of Chhattisgarh, they will tell that all the employees means daily wagers, all the daily wagers who are into the construction of the government buildings, either road or buildings, 90% of the employees, 90% of the daily wagers should be tribals. So, what will happen? Private man will exploit, but not the government, no. So, government made a policy that in all the roads and buildings constructions of the state government of Chhattisgarh, 90% of the daily wagers should be tribal. So, at least some guarantee will be there, at least they will get some daily wages. Establishing of ashrama schools. If I want employment, first I should be educated. Ashrama schools by state government or central government? State government. 50% funded by central government, 50% funded by state government, 50:50. Whereas EMRS, Ekalavya Model Residential School, EMRS, 100% central government. Vocational training in, yes, this is vocational training. Job, computer skills, soft skills, computer skills, communication skills, ITI, these all are what? Job oriented. Support to tribal research and training institutions, support to tribal research, so that more research will happen on tribes, so that what is suitable for them, accordingly we can make the policy. Narega, a very good act. So, when they are agriculture, when they depend upon seasonal agriculture, when they depend upon seasonal rainfall, means only Kharif, mostly Rabi also unexpected. They can have very good, if we depend completely on a season, I can depend only on one crop, that is Kharif crop. Rabi also unexpected. Then how I should live for another 6 months? For 6 months I depended upon Kharif, July, August, September, October, November, done. By November it is done. November onwards I came into Rabi crop. From November to again May, how I should live? Thanks to Narega, National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, Upadhi Hami Padakam, National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. What is this scheme? Any person belongs to tribal village or any village, if you go to the Gram Panchayat and ask the Panchayat secretary, sir, I don't have any employment, please give me employment. It is the responsibility of the Panchayat secretary to give the employment within 15 days, unskilled labor employment for 100 days within one financial year. So, it is the responsibility of the Panchayat secretary to provide 100 days of unskilled labor employment for that particular person who belongs to rural household, irrespective of the caste, irrespective of the community, irrespective of the religion. That particular scheme is called as Narega. So, for 6 months he is depending upon his own agriculture, another 6 months he is getting job in Narega. So, Narega is a good scheme. Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act in tribal areas. PVTGs, there are some tribal people, PVTGs, who are more backward than tribals. There are communities like particularly vulnerable tribal groups who are also called as primitive tribal groups. Within the tribes, they are more backward. So, tribals already backward, but this PVTG are more backward than tribal. Exclusive programs for development of PVTG. Support through national, state, scheduled tribes, financial development. There will be finance development corporations. You might having idea this. There will be National ST Finance and Development Corporation, National SC Finance and Development Corporation, National BC Finance and Development Corporation. What they will do? I am an ST, for example. If I go to this corporation, then I asked, see, I want to buy one auto. Yes, it's a very good employment. I want an auto. Then what this finance development corporation will tell that, okay, give me your Aadhaar card, what are all the requirements, they will ask. Then they will tell that your auto is 2 lakhs, example. I will give you 50% grant. Grant means free. Free, grant. Subsidy means some amount will be added. There is lot of difference. Grant means 100% free. Subsidy means some amount will be given. Here 100% means 50%. From that auto, 50% amount, which is 100% of this particular finance corporation is giving 50% free. They will write a letter. See, I am writing a letter to State Bank of India or any public sector bank. Take this letter and tell them 50% already funded by this development corporation. Another 50% take loan. and your 50% and the loan 50% both together we can buy a auto. Good or no? A person doesn't have a single rupee. A person doesn't have a single rupee. Within 2 days he is going to have his own. So obviously he got a very good employment. No, not only he, his complete family got employment now. His family getting livelihood because of such financial development corporations. We think that SC, ST only reservation. This development corporations will work a lot. If you see some for cabs, behind they will be written hypothecated to or given by financial development corporation in backside of the cars. These corporations only they will give for cabs or for autos, for rickshaws, etc. See, I don't have a rupee. 1 lakh given free by financial development corporation, another 50% by loan. See, again I will be responsible. Why? Because I have to pay that loan. So they made him tied so that completely free I am not getting. 50% free, but another 50% in the form of loan. I will pay the loan, no? So till I pay the loan, I will be working. So what will happen? This person slowly working. If he is irresponsible person also, he will become responsible. Goal, going online as leaders. This is another recent scheme, current affair. In COVID times it came, 2021 this scheme came, going online as leaders, nothing. There will be mentor and mentors. There will be mentor and mentees. For example, people like you and me, we will enroll into this goal website as mentor. Who want to get training, they will be enrolling as mentees. And artificial intelligence according to their choice. For example, they want communication skills, English speaking skills. So according to artificial intelligence, it will allocate for every mentor 2 mentees. So they will message you, sir, I want to learn English language, I want to learn computer knowledge. So immediately we will connect with them. Then they will be provided with online platform. Facebook connectivity will be free, so that you can have a video messaging. So you will be teaching them, they will be learning them. You will be teaching them, they will be learning. Through online mechanism in COVID times, going online as leader. So every mentor will be teaching how many? 2 mentees. What is the benefit? After teaching, mentor will guarantee that you came to know the computer knowledge. So based upon the mentor's advice, he will get a certificate. And mentor will get a certificate from central government that he successfully taught 2 mentees. That scheme is called as going online as leaders. Employment, vocational training happened means obviously we will get employment. These are the government efforts. Then what? Our Zaksa. Again what he told. There is a dire need to establish agro-based training institutions and related labor-intensive processing industries in tribal. What is the problem? They are producing alus, they are producing tomatoes, they are producing agriculture produce, but the problem is they cannot save it. They don't have the skill to process them. So it is becoming ripened. If they store it for at least 10 days, they can have a market for another 10 days. But the agriculture produce, they will be without cold storage houses, they will become ripened within 2-3 days. So government told that there is a dire need to establish agro-based, means there will be a cold storage houses. In that how they have to use, there should be training will be given to them, so that not only agriculture, that agriculture goods will be preserved. They should be motivated to undertake organic farming and eco-forestry. Tribal should be allowed to participate in the protection and management of forests. Why? Because their livelihood is mainly dependent upon forests. Credit and marketing facilities need to be extended to the STs. Entrepreneurs among STs must be given credit facility on par with other social groups. Every time why you want to become employment, you can be a employer. For employer, what I want? Credit, loan. So exclusive credit facilities should be given, institutional mechanism should be there, so that they will be getting the loans, so that they will be establishing their own firms. So entrepreneurship also should be promoted in tribals. For that, what we have to give? Financial institutions. The government should follow a transparent policy with regard to jobs for STs in public sector. Tribal should be encouraged to use their traditional knowledge to meet their, there will be some traditional knowledge like Ayurveda medicine. One of your student, her brother died because of snake bite today, 21st century. I also got shocked. She sent me the photo also. Snake bite. Snake bite was a story of 20 years back, 30 years back. We used to listen. Snake bite. The people used to die. She is absent today because of snake bite. So there will be some traditional knowledge to protect from such accidents, snake bites. So that knowledge should be highlighted. When that knowledge is highlighted, at least they will get some income. Previous year question. Discuss the effect of job reservation in alleviating unemployment among the tribal people of India. Then from polity point of view, you will write. Under Article 16 of the Constitution, employment opportunities are provided with respect to their backwardness, social economic backwardness, and STs are also be given reservations with respect to government jobs. So that particular employment, first tribe you will write, then employment, steps taken by government like constitutional provisions like reservations, special schemes of government to come out of unemployment, what are all the schemes which are there now, and way forward. Write this question for today's answer writing. Discuss the effect of job reservation. Discuss the effect of job reservation in elevating unemployment among the tribal people of India. Discuss the effect of job reservation in elevating unemployment among the tribal people of India. Means finally what way forward will be given? It is not only the employment all the time should be given by the government. Entrepreneurship also should be promoted. Skills also should be promoted so that they will not only be employees but also employers. Next big problem is health and nutrition. Health and nutrition. So we understood first one, land alienation. Second one, poverty and indebtedness. Third one, low literacy and poor educational facility. Fourth one, unemployment and underemployment. This is very important. Health and nutrition. The biggest problem which plague the tribals is malnutrition. Accidents. Snake bite is an accident. Sometimes animal will attack. That is also an accident. Quantity is insufficient. Quality is inferior. Malnutrition is a very big problem in tribals. 40% of tribal population in India are malnourished. 40% means for every 10 children, 4 are malnourished. Means if 10 children are sitting here, in that 4 will be malnourished. And if the mother is malnourished when she is pregnant, if mother is not given proper food when she is pregnant, for 6 to 7 months, if she is not given proper food, then the baby will be malnourished in the mother's womb. If the baby is malnourished, it is irreversible. Once the baby born with inbuilt malnutrition or malnourishment, if you take this baby and put in Ambani house also, it will not be reversed. The mother's care is so much important. What she is eating is very important. What the child is eating is very important. So there is a plague of health and disease among the tribal population. So introduction. Tribal cultures have rich heritage of traditional healing, which include, among others, the use of medicinal herbs. Such healing methods are known to have positive impacts on physical and mental. Means generally, traditionally, they have their own traditional healing methods. That's a good thing. They carry a traditional worldview with a large number of beliefs and practices which impact their health, sometimes favorably but otherwise unfavorably. They have their own traditional medicine systems, healing methods, but however, there are some cultural practices which are favorable sometimes, which are unfavorable sometimes. Like yesterday I told you the Kutia Kund, whether the mother's health will be impacted or not. It is not only the mother's health, the baby also will be impacted. Maternal mortality rate will be very, very high. Infant mortality rate will be very, very high. When she is suffering with labor pains, her hands will be tied with ropes to the edges of the hut and her legs will be tied to the edges of the hut, and she herself should put energy such that the baby will come out. No other person will be there in the hut. When the baby is out with a sound, then only they will open the doors and they will lift the baby. So what will be the chance of maternal mortality rate and infant mortality rate? Very, very high. Why they are practicing it? Culture. Majority of scheduled tribe population depends on the public health system, as private providers do not have an interest to work in the tribal dominated areas. And in India we know that the private health is good when compared to public health, but in tribal areas, whether private, at least private hospitals are there, means there is no private hospitals. Why? Because private hospitals are not having any interest. Why? Because their motto is earning money. So the public hospitals established, but whether the public hospitals are having infrastructure? No. Our people also so much fools. They give importance for 2,000, 3,000 rupees pension, but they will not think that once I go to hospital, 3,000 rupees will go in within 3 minutes. You know, hospital is very dangerous. Before we go to hospital, everything will be good. Once we go to hospital, finish. Lot of holes will be there in a pocket. You don't know how much money you earned. Within 4 or 5 days, they will take everything. They will take everything. And we cannot compromise. Why? Because it is health. Majority of scheduled tribe population depends on the public health system, as private providers do not have any interest to work in tribal. D.P. Mukherjee, K.C. Malhotra and others have studied the health problems amongst the tribal population. This is anthropological way of writing. Sir, you are telling tribals like general studies, Zaksa, anthropologist way, tribal examples, anthropologist way, different committee recommendations, anthropologist way, D.P. Mukherjee, Malhotra, anthropologist way. These all are who? Anthropologists. Status, infant mortality rate. See, status, facts. Infant mortality rate for ST is 88 per 1000 births. What is infant mortality rate? Immediately after the birth till 1 year. Within 1 year, how many children, means the child birth happened, within 1 year, the chance of his death will be very high. You know, that is the reason we tell U5MR, under 5 mortality rate. Till 5 years, we don't have guarantee that the child will survive or die. After 5 years only, we will come to conclusion that yes, now he survived, he will be alive. That is the reason the doctor will take it very seriously, any small things also when the age is below 5 years. And if the age is 1 year and below, means the chance of death, the chance of mortality will be very, very high. So we calculate through IMR, we calculate through U5MR. IMR means from the date of birth to 1 year, if the chance of death, if he death is, then it is called as infant mortality rate. So for every 1000 live births, how many children are died? Means out of 100 children, how many children are getting died? Means in this classroom, if 100 children are sitting, there is a chance that 9 children will die. Is it a worst condition or not? If in this classroom only, I made 100 tribal children to sit, babies to sit here, who are less than 1 year. The chance of death of how many children from this 100? Then where we are? After independence, 75 years, Amrit Kal we are, but still, out of 100 children, 9 children are dying. Against all India, whereas all India average is 68. Who is worst? Tribals, STs. Compared to national infant mortality rate, IMR for STs is higher by around 30%. So STs is more than 30%. 68 means plus 6.8, 6.8, 6.8, then I will reach 88. So 30% more children are dying when compared to U5MR, under 5 mortality rate. 129 for STs against all India average of, within the states there is a lot of variation. For example, U5MR for Kerala is 55 and for Jharkhand is 125. You know, most of the tribals are located in Jharkhand or in Kerala. These are the facts which will give impression to the evaluator that you are proving with numbers. You are proving with numbers. Status means what? Facts. Oh, IMR is this much for STs. U5MR is this much for STs. The gap between health indicators for the tribes and those of general population is high, which depicts the poor health conditions of tribal communities. See, 88 is there, 68 is there. Who are more? Tribes. Whether there is a gap between the general population and tribal population, why there will be gap? Government apathy, government unbothered, government is least bothered with respect to tribes. That is the reason the tribal mortality is more when compared to general. So from that, what we are understanding, there is a need to bridge the gap. Why? Because there is gap of 30%. Who are underperforming? Tribals are underperforming. So what I should do? First I have to focus on the vulnerable sections. Who are the vulnerable sections? Tribals. The total fertility rate among the ST population is around 3.1 and that of general population is 2.4. Again, you will get the doubt. Sir, what is total fertility rate? Total fertility rate means wife and husband. The chance of giving live birth is 2.4 for general population, means more than 2 children. But ST is 3.1, means more than, sir, they are producing more children, no. It is good thing, it is not like that. See, when the tribals will produce more children, in olden days, what is the practice? See, Kutia count example I will take. What is the chance of maternal mortality rate? What is the chance of death of mother? Death is high. But husband want wife. So he will not think that it is because of absence of institutional delivery, it is because of this cultural practice of delivery, the mother is dying or his wife is dying. He will think that the chance of death of mother is very high when she is going for delivery, a general belief. Yes or no? But what he want? So he think that the wife might die when she is delivering, so he will go for another marriage. He will go for another marriage. The chance of mother will be high, the chance of infant also will be high. He will marry another woman. So another woman will also produce children. She will also go for same delivery. Thinking that the first wife might die or the first child might die, so I will have another cushion. Another cushion is second wife, the second wife's child. So in that process, what he will do? Every mother, every wife want her own children. So in that process, every mother want to produce their own children. So the number of children will increase eventually. He will not understand that it is because of absence of institutional delivery the death is happening. He will think that anyhow she will die. So I will go for another marriage. But he will not understand that it is because of absence of institutional delivery the chances of death is more. So because of that the fertility rate is not positive. The fertility rate is negative. Why? Because it is because of death he is producing more children. Doing more marriages. When he is doing more marriages, every mother want her own children. The total fertility rate among the ST is 3.1 and that of general population is 2.4. Why in general population? They have institutional deliveries. They have hospitals. They have health infrastructure. So chance of death MMR, the chance of IMR will be less. So what are the health concerns? Mainly malnutrition is the biggest problem. Malnutrition is a biggest problem. In India, 40% of tribal women are susceptible to anemia. Our own women, general women, they suffer with anemia. The iron content will be very less. Doctor will tell you your blood is less. The blood will be less generally in Indian women, mainly because of absence of hemoglobin. Why there will be absence of hemoglobin? Iron rich food we won't consume. That is a problem with general women only. Then what will be with tribal? 40% of the tribal woman is anemic patient. And second, her diet is not good, menstrual cycle. Second thing is natural process. Through menstrual cycle she will be losing the blood and she will be not getting the quality food. So because of both the problems, because of the twinning, her anemia problems will be very, very high, and that is more susceptible in which community? Tribal. Overall intake of various foods were less than recommended daily allowance. There is something called as recommended daily allowance. This much of iodine, this much of sodium, this much of calcium, this much of iron. There is some recommended daily allowance. Whether we will only not follow this recommended daily allowance. So they will be pushed into malnutrition. The prevalence of protein energy malnutrition, vitamin deficiency, underweight, stunting or wasting and chronic energy deficiencies are more than national average. Drinking water and sanitation issues, these all are resulting in malnutrition. Second, maternal and child health problems. High AMR, U5MR, neonatal mortality and maternal mortality. Neonatal means within 1 month. The chance of death of baby, nowadays if you notice, every newborn baby, it might be the highest of the highest hospital also. From 10 children nowadays, 8 children are suffering with jaundice within 1 month. It might be the highest of the highest hospital also, that newborn baby will be getting jaundice. You notice it. Why so? Why? Because once upon a time the newborn baby was been immediately taken to the sunrise, early morning sunrise. So that vitamin A is getting, So he is becoming resistant to jaundice. But now the births are happening inside the glass. So when the births are happening inside the hospitals, he is not getting. So the chances of jaundice are very high. Means the practices are also responsible for diseases. The practices are also responsible for diseases. Maternal child health problems, communicable disease, sexually transmitted diseases because of culture contact, HIV. Land alienation happened. Their lands are being taken away, but they want to eat food. So the women of Malar tribal community or Santal women or Munda women or Oran women, they have to sustain. So they took prostitution into account. They are uneducated, so they will not use contraceptives. So chance of getting HIV is very high. That is also one of the problems. So malnutrition, maternal and child health, communicable diseases. Fourth, accidents. Why? Because they live in forest area. Malaria, agent driven. Animal bites, dog bites, snake bites, filariasis, either agent driven or accidents are very common. 5, high consumption of alcohol and tobacco in Northeast India. The drugs, cannibals are very prevalent, very prevalent. So what will happen? There will be high consumption of alcohol and tobacco. Nagas suffer from high cancer rates because of smoking. Genetic disease, I told you in the beginning, yesterday. Genetic disease, what is the problem? They follow endogamy. What is endogamy? Marry within the group. When they marry within the group, the same genes will rotate in the family. When the same genes are rotating in the family, homozygosity will come in the 3rd generation or 4th generation. When the same genes are repeated, he will be suffering with genetical disease. Hereditary disease like sickle cell anemia is highly prevalent in Indian population because of endogamy. Endogamy is a culture or not? It's a cultural practice. Mental health problem. Industrial zones and left-wing extremism affected regions. They took my land. This is our land. They made me slaves. So a mental health problem. So they are joining what? Left-wing extremism. Drug abuse. For example, there is a high prevalence of drug abuse among Singpos of Arunachal Pradesh. Why? Because they live in the forest area. They will go for weeds. Weeds will be there, no? They will go and they will cultivate weeds. They will not come under the scanner of mainstream. Why? Because they will be living deeper into the forest. So abuse, drug abuse. These are the main health related problems faced by tribals. Number 1, malnutrition. Number 2, maternal and health. Number 3, communicable disease. Number 4, accidents. Number 5, high consumption. Number 6, genetic. Number 7, mental health problems and drug use. So this many varieties of health issues. Health and nutrition is very important. Health and disease is very important. What are the factors responsible? Socio-cultural factors like food taboos. For example, Korwa tribe of Madhya Pradesh, they will not consume table salt. Salt is a cultural taboo. Their culture will tell that you should not consume table salt. So they will not use salt at all. In salt what will be there? Uppulo emundi? Iodine. Iodine lekapothe? Iodine deficiency results in goiter. Korwa tribe, salt intake is restricted and hence iodine deficiency. It results in goiter. Why they are suffering with goiter? Why salt is not allowed? It's a culture. For example, our own culture, beef is called as cheap protein. Everyone cannot buy mutton because high cost. But people can buy beef. Why? Because cheaper, very cheaper than chicken. But the culture is not allowing them to consume beef. So what is stopping them? Culture is stopping them. So if you want a very good nourishment, if you want to get a very good nutrition, he should eat some protein rich food. But protein rich food is cannot access because of high cost. Whether he can take low cost wala? No. Why? Because it is not allowed. Belief in traditional medical system. Do not believe in modern medicines sometimes. Diagnosis and cure of disease by modern medicine is a taboo. They believe that disease are because of ghosts. If I go and give the tablet, they will not take, they will throw it off. You know, I got fever because of ghost. So the ghost should be removed from me, then only the fever will be removed. Cultural practices, superstition beliefs, because of which there is in health. Access to modern healthcare system is limited. No healthcare system. If healthcare system is there, also there, it is a public healthcare system. If public healthcare system is there, infrastructure is not there. If infrastructure is there, the government doctor will not come. Limited healthcare system. Alcoholism and drug abuse. Yes, alcoholism, they practice like a culture. They practice like a culture. Almost all the tribal communities, alcohol, it's a part of their life. It's part of their culture. In northeastern India, the drugs, because uncontrolled weed cultivation will be happening. So there is a problems like alcoholism and drug abuse. Poverty, nutritional deficiency, culture contacts, KBs, smallpox, AIDS is because of contact. So these are the factors which are responsible for poor health and diseases. Case study. I will tell one case study. Try to understand this. Technical. Vivo is an study. A group, they formed a group called as Vivo and they started studying in COVID times. Understand this. In every human being, there will be an enzyme called as G6PD, glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. G6PD enzyme will be present in my body. First listen carefully. I will tell like a story. I am eating, my waste is getting liberated, I am consuming, so metabolism is happening in my body. Everyone's body, metabolism will happen. For every activity, a byproduct will result, that is the nature. What is the byproduct which is happening in the metabolism is oxidation. In every cell, metabolism will happen. Food will come, waste will go out. Food will come, waste will go out. Food will come, waste will go out. Means what? Metabolism is happening. The process is running. Activity is happening. For every activity, there will be a byproduct. So what is the byproduct? Means oxidation in the form of waste. So every cell will become oxidized for every metabolism process. Oxygen only through this is best. It can be any other way. Oxidation is very dangerous to the human body. Moisture or oxidation is very dangerous. So oxygen or moisture should not enter into any cell. If the oxygen should be entered, it should enter only through this. Now in my every cell in my tissue, because of metabolism as a process of nature, oxidation is happening as a byproduct. It will happen. So in my body, there will be a enzyme called as G6PD, glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. This enzyme will go and destroy that oxidized molecules. It will go and pinch. So what will happen? Dehydrogenase, deoxidation will happen. Means what? This oxidized molecule will not disturb other cells. If this oxygen molecule is present, it will destroy all the cells. So this will be deoxidized. The oxidation will be stopped. So my body will be neutralized. Again metabolism, again oxidation, again deoxidation, again oxidation, again deoxidation, again oxidation, again so I will be stable. So I am stable because of which enzyme? G6PD. Okay, this is natural process. In COVID times, what happened? One which is very costly medicine came for the first time, which is originally 50 rupees but sold for 5 lakhs also, which is called as hydroxychloroquine. Originally 50 rupees, 60 rupees, it was sold in black for 5 lakhs also. If you are aware, hydroxychloroquine. Any person who got COVID, how we used to take paracetamol. Similarly, a person little bit Google knowledge is there, he used to go to a medical shop and he used to buy hydroxychloroquine. Then what happened? The person who take hydroxychloroquine, it is directly going to the COVID virus and it is destroying the COVID virus, good. But for every medicine there will be a side effect. That medicine is destroying G6PD enzyme. That medicine is destroying what? G6PD enzyme. So people in COVID times, they were in a hurry to buy this hydroxychloroquine. Are you aware now hydroxychloroquine? They were in a hurry to buy this hydroxychloroquine. So they took hydroxychloroquine. What it did? It destroyed G6PD enzyme, which is a major problem. So, G6PD enzymes became less. When the G6PD enzyme becomes less, oxidation will become more or less? Oxidation will become more. Oxidation will become more. Why? Because up to now G6PD was, when the oxidation is happening, it is deoxidizing. Now deoxidation will become less, so oxidation will become. In tribals, generally, because marrying within themselves, G6PD enzymes are less. Generally, G6PD enzymes are less. That is one of the genetical problem they face. Almost all the tribes in India. Already G6PD enzyme is less, and government also RMP doctor will be there. RMP doctor aggressively giving what? Hydroxychloroquine. Very, very aggressively he is giving hydroxychloroquine to the tribal people. Already G6PD is less, means in my body limited G6PD is there, enzyme. I am taking hydroxychloroquine, it is destroying the G6PD which are left. So, oxidation started increasing and the people started deaths. The number of deaths in tribal population is increasing. They got confused. In the mainstream we are giving hydroxychloroquine, there they are curing, but here not only curing but they are also dying. It is because of G6PD deficiency. G6PD deficiency, the same thing. COVID-19 and tribals became more vulnerable. COVID means contemporary, current example. So, government could not understand. Then a research was being done by which group? Vivo. They went and they studied. Then they came to a conclusion. Already their G6PD is enzyme. In fact of that, in spite of that, they consumed hydroxychloroquine and they became more vulnerable, more weak, more vulnerable. The same thing. In this case, the prevalence of G6PD deficiency varies from 2.3 to 27%, overall prevalence of 7.7% different tribal groups. Since the tribal populations live in remote areas with low health infrastructure, tribal population are more vulnerable to novel coronavirus. Such peculiar conditions of tribals calls for special attention. G6PD deficient cells are more vulnerable to human coronavirus infection than G6PD normal cells, and use of hydroxychloroquine as effective medicine in the treatment of COVID-19 made the situation worse. As a drug should be used sparingly, they used and it got impacted G6PD. Clear? Online clear? Impact क्या है? Consequence क्या है? High AMR, MMR. Conflict with traditional medicine man and modern medicine man. The modern medicine man used to go. People didn't take COVID vaccination. They didn't accept it. They rejected, they bet also. There is a conflict with traditional medicine man and modern medicine man. Then later how it happened, it is an Indian culture. Government made first dominant caste or the influential people in the village, they persuaded them. They made them to understand. When the upper caste, then the dominant caste people started using the vaccination. Then one by one, neighbor, this house, then they started jumping to the hospital. Then one point they came that from windows also they took COVID vaccination. There are evidences. From windows, fatafat they took. Why? Because before him the neighbor will come. Vaccines will complete. So they have to go fast. In that way the vaccinations, but earlier they didn't accept it because of conflict between traditional man and medicine man. Why? Because traditional man is, don't worry, I am there. I will give you one leaf, or I will give something, compulsory it will be treated. But the modern man is telling that go for vaccination. So there is a conflict between both of them. Life expectancy decreases. High total fertility. Government efforts. Tribal health and wellness centers. Now we don't have PHCs. Now we have what? Health and wellness centers. In our villages also, earlier we used to call them as PHCs. Now it is called as health and wellness centers. Tribal health and wellness centers. Financing of tribal health by exclusive tribal health funding by the plan called as tribal sub plan. Excise policy for tribal areas, 1970 to regulate what? Liquor. Excise policy for tribal areas, 1976 to regulate manufacturing of local made, brewing of local liquor was been stopped from excise policies of 1976. Sickle cell anemia pilot program. Sickle cell anemia is a genetical disease. Anemia which is sickle cell means what? Hemoglobin will be generally in oval shape, circular shape. It became sickle shaped. So, this sickle shaped hemoglobin is destroying other cells. That particular disease is called as sickle cell anemia, which is highly prevalent in tribal people. It is a genetical disease. So, they are marrying among themselves. Hence, there is high prevalence of sickle cell anemia. Pilot program of Tamil Nadu, Irula, Toda, there the sickle cell anemia is very high. Wherever the sickle cell anemia is there, the government have a pilot program. The government have a pilot program. Ayushman Bharat, health, insurance, Ayushman Bharat, National Nutrition Holistic Mission, National Nutrition Mission, Poshan Abhiyan, Swasthya Health Portal, a complete website where we will be getting all the information related to health. These are all the various initiatives taken by government. The recommendations of Debar Commission. What the Debar Commission? Debar Commission constituted in 1961. Then Debar Commission recommendation. There is a greater need of cohesion between traditional medicine man and there should be an understanding. How? The modern medicine man, if anyone is suffering with disease, the modern medicine man should come. Why? Because first he should gain confidence, no? Please, you try with your traditional medicine. If he is cured, I will not show your face. I will not show my face. He is treated. If the disease is not cured, then I requested humbly, then he will give an opportunity to modern medicine man. Then if modern medicine man is applying this treatment, if he is cured, whether he will get the confidence? So, in that way, there is a need for cohesion between the traditional medicine man and modern medicine. Debar Commission also recommended for special cadre of medical professionals for tribal areas, exclusive doctors for tribal areas, need for mobile dispensaries, ambulance, mobile dispensary. Why? Because hospital cannot go into every hilly area. So, mobile dispensaries like ambulances and primary health care centers at every tribal hamlet. These all are what? Recommendations of Debar. Whatever Zaksa did, he will do something now. What he told? Zaksa recommended for establishment of tribal health council, tribal health assembly, tribal advisory council. Understand this. In every Gram Panchayat office, in tribal areas, in tribal village, there will be a tribal health council. This tribal health council, the Grama Sabha members, in that 10 to 15 people will form a tribal health council and they will discuss with respect to the health issues in the tribal village. For every village, there will be a tribal health council. They will give inputs to tribal health assembly, who is located in districts. Every 1 month, there will be a tribal health assembly. They will go and they will tell about their village health problems. And this tribal health assembly, every month once there will be a tribal advisory council in the state level. So, this tribal health assembly people will go to that advisory council, they will sit. There will be a tribal advisory council, they will listen to what this tribal health assembly is telling. Means tribal health council, at a village level, it is called as, they will take all the inputs from the village. At district level, it is called as tribal health assembly. These all people will go and they will form a assembly. Here one output will come, generalization. Here one output will come. These all people will go, there will be a tribal advisory council. They will give inputs. And this tribal advisory council will give the recommendations to Chief Minister. Accordingly, the Chief Minister will be acting. Now you tell me, this Chief Minister will be acting according to the demand of grassroots level or not? It is top down approach or it is bottom to top approach or top to bottom approach? Bottom. So what the tribal village want, what the tribal hamlet want, that will be done by whom? Chief Minister, on the recommendation of Tribal Advisory Council. How they got the information? From Tribal Health Assembly. How they got the information? Tribal Health Assembly, Tribal Advisory Council, Tribal Health Council. There is a need for area specific, tribal sensitive, area specific, tribal sensitive. Tribal sensitive approach should be there. For example, I will tell you, in every September month, whatever it may be, in Visakhapatnam region, Vizag agency area, there will be widespread dengue. At a stretch they will get dengue. Means we have to understand, in this month they are facing with dengue. So that should be area specific. I cannot just generally tell that. I should go there. I have to understand what is environmental factors which are responsible for dengue, which is occurring only in that month. So there should be area specific. Tribal sensitive approach should be there. There is a need for cohesion of 3 A's. 3 A's were there. Asha worker, Anganwadi worker, auxiliary nurse midwifery. Asha worker. Who is Asha worker? Accredited social health activist. Accredited social health activist. She will be acting as the assistant to the nurse. What she will do? She will also wear the white saree. She will have some information with respect to malnutrition. She will have some information with respect to how to have delivery. She will have some information about how to do, she will not do institutional delivery, but she will be working like helper, Asha worker. Next there is Anganwadi worker, midday meal scheme, like when milk packet is given, one egg is given, one curd packet is given, 200 grams of food will be given. Who will be preparing it? Anganwadi worker. Auxiliary nurse midwifery. This is another idea. What? Already a wife who got pregnant, have successful children, she will be also recruited by the government and she will be visiting all the village. If any lady is pregnant, she will go and she will be advising. She will be recommending what to eat, what not to eat, what are the practices she has to follow. That is a function of. So there is a need for proper coordination. But they are ladies. These 3 are ladies. She will take some eggs to her home in cover. She will be doing her own. So there is a need for coordination between Asha worker, Anganwadi worker, auxiliary midwife. Compulsory constitution of primary health care center at every tribal hamlet having population of, according to our health policy of India, if more than 500 population, then only there will be a primary health care center. But this committee recommended that if it is 250 also, we have to come up with primary health care center. But according to our health policy, it should be 500. But for tribal villages, if it is 250 also, we can come up with primary health care center. Describe the impact of displacement on the health and nutritional status of, see, when I am living in my land, I got everything. I have resources, I have food, I have everything. But when I got displaced, I lost my livelihood, I lost my employment, I lost my income, I lost my food. So I will suffer with what? Malnutrition. Definition of tribe, factual data on health status, reasons for poor health, consequence of poor health, expert committee recommendations, way forward. Same structure. Introduction, status, factors responsible for it, consequences, solutions, recommendations, conclusion. There are some unresolved issues. For example, nutritional deficiency diseases. Iron rich food we won't consume. So iron content in our hemoglobin will be less. When iron content is less in hemoglobin, we will be suffering with. This is general, not only tribal women. Our Indian woman is also suffering with anemia because of absence of balanced diet. Unresolved issue. Inadequate and inaccessible health services. There is no hospitals. If hospitals is there, doctor is not there. Doctor is not there, infrastructure is not there. Inaccessible and inadequate. If hospital is there somewhere, how many newspaper items we saw? The delivery woman will be carried through the bullock carts. By the time she reach there, every month one article will come, one news item will come. Sometimes when they are going on the bike also, because of hospitals, 4 days or 1 week back, the delivery happened on the bike when they are traveling Why? Because roads are not good. So ups and downs will be there. Husband took her, but in between only she had her delivery. Baby was alive, but the mother died. Inadequate water resources. High dropout rates is not only enrollment, as I told you. The big problem is dropouts. That is the reason I tell you, your attendance is very important. In the hurry, yes, I want to become an IAS officer in any cost. They will bring money and they will join. Yes. Where is that vision? Big institutes. After 10 days, absent, and finally, dropout. Dropouts are very high in India. In any field, in anywhere, nearly 60% dropouts will be there. Forceful tribal displacement. Forcefully. Today also unaddressed. So today also unanswered. Forceful tribal displacement. Polavaram Dam, which is going to come in Andhra Pradesh, it is going to displace 1 lakh tribal people. Kaleshwaram project, which came in Telangana, it displaced 60,000 people. Today also, 2023, 2022 also, there is forceful tribal displacement. In spite of this much of media, in spite of this much of social media, in spite of this much of empowerment, drug abuse and alcoholism, bonded labor, neglect of tribal women, distress migration of tribes. They are migrated. Not a pull factor, but push factor. Unresolved issues. Atrocities against STs. Mathura case. In 1974, what happened, you know? One tribal girl, innocent, ignorant, 7 o'clock, husband didn't came. She waited night. Next day, she waited till evening. Husband didn't came. She got worried. Age of 19 years. Her name is Mathura, a tribal woman. She thought police stations are for protection. She went to the police station to give complaint about missing of her husband. 6 o'clock, 7:30. At that time, electricity is not there. Law enforcement agency, the police people itself raped her inside the police station. After this incident only, after 6 o'clock, woman should not be in the police station. If the woman should be in the police station, then woman police constable should be there. If we want to arrest any woman, then compulsory there should be woman police. When this came, rules came after this only. Supreme Court gave guidelines. After the Mathura case, the police raped a tribal girl inside the police station. And the worst thing is, and the police manufactured the incident as if they didn't rape her, she is a prostitute. High Court declared it. 1974 the incident happened. 1986 the High Court gave the judgment, there is no fault, it is not a rape, it was a consent. Then the police were happy. It took another 10 years to go to Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court finally gave the judgment that she was been raped and she is not a prostitute. And 4 police officers were been suspended after 20 years at their retirement age. Mathura rape case. Trafficking of tribal girls is very common. Ineffective implementation of tribal subplan, means plans, improper implementation. Extinction of tribal culture. These are what? Unresolved issues of tribal communities. Clear? See, you understood land alienation properly, so rest all problems become easy. That is basics. If you remember, land alienation itself I taught 1 hour 30 minutes, only one tribal problem. Then rest all tribal problems within 20-30 minutes we completed. That is basics. Basics we have to read more. When we read basics, when we get command on the basics, then we can build a proper house. Yesterday land alienation 1.5 hours I took, and next 30 minutes I took next problem. What is that? Poverty. Today another 3 problems. Big health and disease is a very big problem, but we completed within 30 minutes. Why? Because we understood basics. Okay, thank you.